When I was in high school, I worked at the movie theater in my hometown. It was a small town with only one theater, so you pretty much got to see everyone who lived there on the weekends. Every Friday and Saturday night, this man named Kenny would come for the late shows. Kenny had a droopy, lazy eye, was kind of heavy, wore his pants way too high, and also had a really bad stutter. He was an engineer at the plant in town that employed half of the people there. People were mean to him, and I felt sorry for him. The other employees and customers were just rude and would walk away when they saw him coming. I thought he seemed like a nice guy, just weird. I was nice to him, so he always came to my concession line and ordered a large cherry Coke with a small popcorn. After 3 months of the same routine, he started coming on Sundays as well. At the time, my boyfriend worked there as well and noticed that Kenny was paying special attention to me. Soon Kenny started coming to movies during the week. The theater only had 4 screens, so he was re-watching movies, which I didn't think much of. I can watch the same movie over and over again. One night I made the mistake of letting him in for free, since it was the 4th time coming to see Legally Blonde. Big mistake. After my shift, he was in the parking lot waiting for me to get off of work. The movie had ended about 30 minutes before I was done. I thought he was just waiting around to say thank you, so I walked by and asked, was it as good as the first time? He said flat out, not as good as the fantasy I have about you. Do you want to come back to my place? I laughed because I thought he was joking and said my boyfriend would probably get mad, but thanks for the offer. Kenny goes, I can take care of him easily. Then he smiles and gets in his car without driving away. I was creeped out, but just kept thinking that maybe he wasn't good with social interactions. I was 17 and very naive. When I drove away, he started following me, so like a dumbass I drove home and ran in the house and locked the door. Now he knew where I lived. This went on for about a year. I had to change my schedule at the theater. The manager had to have a talk with him about being inappropriate, and basically I just made sure to have someone with me wherever I went. He would sit outside my house. He would follow me to my boyfriend's house. Yes, I had talked to the police and they knew. They just didn't care, or I think it was serious. The officer who talked to laughed and said, looks like Kenny has a crush. It'll run its course. I figured I would be graduating soon and going out of state for college. On graduation day, he showed up to the ceremony and had flowers sent to my house. The night of graduation, there was a kegger and bonfire out by the lake. I got way too drunk and had the spins, so I walked away from the party to get some fresh air. Plus I wanted to throw up in private. I can't say for sure who grabbed me because I was grabbed from behind. The person was big and they shoved me up against and pinned my arms behind me. I screamed, but they punched me in the back of the head and I started to black out. As this person was trying to tear off my shorts, I started throwing up. Total violent projectile vomiting, and I have never been so thankful to puke. He dropped me and ran off. I laid on the ground until one of my friends came to find me to tell me that my boyfriend had been beat up. Someone had jumped him from behind when he went to go find a place to pee. His friends drove him to the hospital because his head wound wouldn't stop bleeding. The rest of the night was a blur. It was basically me getting trouble, my boyfriend breaking up with me, and everyone thinking I had made up my attack because I was embarrassed about being a sloppy drunk. I worked at the theater for the rest of summer until I went to college 1,400 miles away. 2 years after graduation, my family left the state as well, and I have not been back to there in 12 years. Now I'm married with a 2-year-old. Today, as I'm walking through Target, I see Kenny waiting in one of the checkout lanes. He saw me and smiled. I just abandoned my cart, grabbed my kid and left. I ran to my car and drove to the nearest police station. They told me that there is little that they can do, but will keep a record. FML, not again.